the FBI, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms.
On July 22, 1999, Glass flew to New York for a meeting here at the trendy Tribeca Grill. It was dinner for four. Glass, his first contact, Dia Moishan, the Jersey City businessman, Mike Malik, and the mystery man, R.G. Abbas.
You know who supplies him with money?
Who? Yeah.
Glass was wearing a wire. Mixed in with the dinner crowd were agents from the FBI's terrorism task force.
Basically, what he told me was they were interested in purchasing a large amount of sophisticated weapon systems.
And who was Abbas representing in this?
Abbas was represented to me as being an ISI agent.
And this is where the stakes really get high, because if Abbas was telling the truth, Randy Glass and the feds were about to cut an illegal weapons deal with a Pakistani intelligence operative linked to terrorists.
The story of Randy Glass never seemed to quite catch on. If you ask most people, have you heard about this? Have you heard about Randy Glass? They haven't heard about it.
Earlier today,
Perhaps the story failed to spark the public imagination because the most dramatic revelation ended up on Dateline's cutting room floor.
I had been threatened by FBI agent Steve Brodowski that if I mentioned any of that, I would be charged with obstruction of justice.
2 months later, the Palm Beach Post ran this story.
During the course of the conversation, I asked him exactly what his intentions were. After dinner, as we walked outside, he pointed in the direction of the World Trade Center and said, "Those towers are coming down."
I'm not suggesting from this that Pakistan is the quote-unquote solution to 9/11, because it's not. Pakistan is one part in a very complicated story. But the question to me is, who else was involved with Al-Qaeda? Was Al-Qaeda used as a tool? Just as in the 1980s, the Mujahideen were basically used by the U.S. government.
In August 2004, after the 9/11 Commission had disappointed so many of the families with its report, Paul Thompson's completed timeline was published as a book by HarperCollins. The recurring themes of Paul Thompson's timeline are clear: no accountability, few answers, and many missed leads. The sponsors of the attack yet to be confronted.
Is the fact that there is some sort of a deal in place between the government of Pakistan and the United States.
The men named as the culprits allowed to escape.
But we haven't really captured anybody, one or two on the fringe.
And the government officials who ignored warnings before 9/11 still in their positions.
I don't remember the Al-Qaeda cells as being something that we were told we needed to do something about.
Still, despite years of investigation and advocacy by the families and others, the official story of what really happened on September 11th remains little changed.
What is democracy? You know, it's government by the people. It's a simple equation, okay? The biggest part of democracy is the media. They have to hold everyone accountable.
You know, it would be impossible as a citizen to be up and informed on every single topic, because it took us thousands of hours of research in order to be informed enough to ask the right questions here. And that's where you need media, because you know what? Somebody has to be out there connecting the dots. And we don't have that.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Diane and Charlie. Please don't go away, because
I think news reporting has drastically changed since 9/11.
Rebecca Abrams, an assignment editor with ABC News.
The reporting now, there is always use of caution in how we cover a story.
For those tuning to the internet rather than network news, online buzz about President Bush in the Florida classroom had started within weeks of the attacks. But most Americans remained unaware. For nearly 3 years, the footage gathered dust on newsroom shelves as the networks avoided the issue in their anniversary retrospectives.
ABC News is going to be with you all day long, bringing you the events of the day, starting with the memorial here.
They seemed to go out of their way to avoid exposing the president's lack of response.
The president thought for a second or two about getting up and walking out of the room, but the drill was coming to a close and he didn't want to alarm the children.
Instead, Bush pauses, thanks the children.
Thank you all so very much for showing me your reading skills.
And heads for the empty classroom next door.
This is Michael Moore.
Finally, into the void created by the news media glossing over the discomforting issues came filmmaker Michael Moore with his record-breaking film, Fahrenheit 9/11. Sharply critical of the administration, the film sparked controversy and fiery attacks on Moore himself, including during prime time at the Republican National Convention.
Please, my friends. He's certainly not a disingenuous filmmaker.